Hello students, I am Professor Ravi Prakash from Jain College of Engineering, Department of MBA. Today we are seeing the Module 1 of Integrated Marketing Communication. So what is IMC? Integrated Marketing Communication is coordinating the various promotional elements and other marketing activities that communicate with a firm's customers. Or it can also be said as IMC is a process through which organizations accelerate returns by taking a customer centric approach to aligning their marketing and communication objectives with their business or institutional goals. So we are moving to the IMC planning model. What is IMC planning model? So it has multiple steps. So we'll go step by step. So first one is review of marketing plan. The first step is to understand where the company or a brand for that matter has been, its current position in the market, where it intends to go and how it plans to get there. The marketing plan is a written document that describes the overall marketing strategy and programs developed for an organization or a brand. It includes 5 basic elements. The first one, a detailed situational analysis that consists of an internal marketing audit and review. Second one, the specific marketing objectives that provide direction, a time frame for marketing activities and a mechanism for measuring performance. Third one, a marketing strategy and program that includes selection of target markets and decisions and plans for the 4 elements of marketing mix. Fourth one, the program for implementing the marketing strategy, including determining specific tasks to be performed and responsibilities. The fifth one is a process for monitoring and evaluating performance and providing feedback so that proper control can be maintained and any necessary changes can be made in the overall marketing strategy or tactics. So coming to the analysis of promotional program situation. So it has 2 parts, that is internal and external analysis. Internal analysis, it assesses relevant areas involving the product or service offering and the firm itself. So it includes capabilities of the firm. First we should know what is the firm capable. Then next is the availability to develop and implement a successful promotional program. Analysis of promotional program situation. It has 2 parts, that is the internal analysis and the external analysis. First we are seeing the internal analysis. Internal analysis is the finding the or assessing the relevant areas involving the product or service offering and the firm itself. So it includes capabilities of the firm, ability to develop and implement a successful promotional program, organization of the promotional department, successes and failures of past programs. The external analysis, it focuses on factors such as characteristics of the firm or the firm's customers, market segments, positioning strategies and competitors. It also includes detailed consideration of customers, characters and buying patterns, their decision process and factors influencing their purchase decision. Assessment of the market, evaluate the attractiveness of various segments of the market and identify the target segment, determine the positioning of the product in the customer's mind. Coming to the analysis of communication process, it examines how the company can effectively communicate with consumers in its target markets. The process consumers will go through in responding to market communications or marketing communications must be understood. The decisions regarding the use of various source, message and channel factors must be considered. Communication goals and objectives are to be established. Next, coming to the budget determination. So here what we have to see is what will be the promotional program cost. So what all we have planned, we need to first go through the budgeting. So how much amount is required to complete our strategy. Then how will the money be allocated. So how are you going to be allocating the money, whether it is being allocated once or in parts. Okay. Next comes developing the integrated marketing communications program. It is the most involved and detailed step. Determine the role and importance of each promotional mix element and their coordination with one another. Each promotional mix element is given its own set of objectives and a budget and strategy for meeting them. Activities have to be performed to implement the promotional programs. Procedures must be developed for evaluating performance and making necessary changes. Coming to the monitoring, evaluation and control part. This helps in determining how well the promotional program is meeting communication objectives and helping the firm in achieving the overall marketing objective. It also helps in understanding as to why a particular promotional program was a success or a failure. It provides continual feedback concerning the effectiveness of the promotional program. Next, moving to the marketing and promotions process model. This model consists of 4 components. Marketing strategy and analysis is the first one. Second one, target marketing process. Third one, marketing planning program development. And the fourth one is target market. So first one, marketing strategy and analysis. It is derived from the overall corporate strategy. This is very important. You need to make a note that marketing strategy and analysis, it is derived from the overall corporate strategy. Marketing research is used extensively for inputs at this stage. Here the company decides the product or service and the particular market that it wants to compete in. So it has few steps under it. So the first one, opportunity analysis. Market opportunities are areas where there are favorable demand trends, like whether it is growing, falling or stable. The second one, the company believes customer needs and opportunities not being satisfied. So that is an opportunity where you can encash. The company can compete effectively. Insights into market opportunities are got by analyzing demand trends and competition in various segments. So next is competitive analysis. The competition can be direct brand competition or more indirect forms of competition such as product substitutes. Companies look for competitive advantage which can give them an edge over competitors. Companies must be concerned with the ever-changing competitive environment. Competitors' reaction to companies' promotions is also very important. Coming to the target market selection. After detailed opportunity and competition analysis, one or more target markets are selected. Then all the marketing efforts of the firm are focused on the selected target market and what it wants to achieve in this particular market. So next, coming to the target marketing process. It has 4 steps. First one, identifying markets with unfulfilled needs. Second one, determining market segmentation. Third one, selecting a market to target. Fourth one, positioning through marketing strategies. So the first one, identifying markets with unfulfilled needs. It isolates customers with similar lifestyles, needs and the like. It increases knowledge of a group's specific requirements. It identifies specific needs of groups. It helps companies to effectively address these requirements in communication programs. It helps inform and persuade potential customers or consumers that the product or service offering meets their needs. So in unfulfilled needs, we have to go through all these points. So next point is market segmentation. So in this process of dividing up a market into different distinct groups that have common needs and will respond similarly to a marketing action. The process involves 5 distinct steps. First one, finding ways to group consumers according to the needs. Finding ways to group the market actions, usually the products offered available to the organization. Third one, developing a market oriented grid to relate the market segment to the firm's products or actions. Fourth one, selecting the target segments towards which the firm directs to marketing actions. Fifth one, taking marketing actions to reach target segments. So the basis of segmentation can be geographic segmentation, demographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, behavioral segmentation, and benefit segmentation. So how to select a target market? So there are different things. One is the undifferentiated market. Here the segment differences and offers, the differences of the segment is ignored and the product is offered to the entire market. It offers standardized strategy, thus saving money. So next is the differentiated marketing. Market to different segments by developing separate marketing strategies for each different segment. This increases the opportunity to satisfy the needs and wants of various groups. Next is concentrated marketing. Focus on one segment and attempt to capture a large share of this segment. Next is market positioning. Positioning is defined as the art and science of fitting the product or service to one or more segments of the broad market, in which a way to set it meaningfully apart from competition. So this is very important to know. Marketing planning, program development. First is the product decisions. A product is anything that can be marketed and that when used and supported gives satisfaction to the individual. It is a bundle of benefits and values that satisfies the needs of consumers. For some products, symbolism may be more important than functional utility. Product decisions are about decision, quality, design, service, warranties, branding, and packing. So coming to the distribution channel decisions. Distribution is about the way manufacturers make its products and services available for purchase. Marketing channels are a set of independent organizations involved in the process of making a product or service available for use or consumption. It serves a form of reminder advertising. Consumers see the brand and recall the advertisement. So there are two types of promotional strategies. The first one is the push strategy and the pull strategy. Under push strategy, the program designed to persuade the trader to stock, merchandise, and promote a manufacturer's products. Goal is to push the product through the channel of distribution by aggressively selling and promoting the item to the sellers or trade. Companies with favorable channel relations may prefer push strategy. Firms with limited promotional budget may opt for push strategy. So coming to the pull strategy. Programs directed towards the ultimate consumer. Goal is to create demand among consumers and encourage them to request the product from the retailer. Stimulating demand at the end user level pulls the product through the channels of distribution. It is used when a product has unique benefits, is superior to competitive brands, or is very popular among consumers. Now coming to the communication process. So the communication process has different parts. First one is the source or sender, encoding, channel message, decoding, receiver. In between we have noise and response and feedback. So the first one, source or encoding or the sender. Source or sender is a person or organization that has some information to share with another person or a group of people. The source may be an individual or a non-personal entity. Next is the channel. It is the method through which the communication travels from the source to the receiver. source to the receiver. Before the channel there is something called as encoding. So what is encoding? Encoding is packing the information in a particular way so that it can be sent via a channel. Okay, sent via a channel. Next comes the receiver bar decoding part. Receiver is the person with whom the sender share thoughts or information. Generally, they are consumers who read, hear or see the marketer's message and decode it. Decoding is the process of transforming the sender's message back into thoughts. The process of heavily influenced by receiver's frame of reference or field of experience. Difficulties in having some common with receivers are the age and the lifestyle. Next comes the noise. It is a distortion of message or interference with its reception caused by extraneous factors. It may occur when there is no overlap in the fields of experience of sender and receiver. For example, if you are talking over a phone, you are giving some particular information to your friend or someone on the other side of the phone. If there is a loud voice in between or there might be a network issue. So these all things are called as noise. So next is response bar feedback. Response is the reaction of receiver after seeing, hearing or reading the message. It can be non-observable action or observable immediate action. Feedback is the part of the receiver's response that is sent back to the sender. Feedback closes the communication loop. It helps sender to understand the way the message was decoded and interpreted by the receiver and make adjustments. Direct selling gives an opportunity for instant feedback, which is not available in the mass media. Sales is one method of feedback. The others include coupon redemption, feedback cards, store visits, research to assess the impact of ad on consumers like ad recall, attitude change and message comprehension. Coming to types of advertising, it is based on the first one, target group. The different groups can be consumer advertising, where you can advertise soaps, detergents, toothpastes. The second one is service advertising, like insurance, medical services, educational services, etc. Then the third one is industrial advertising. For example, high capacity generators or a certain product that is used as a secondary part in a particular machine, etc. Next comes is the surrogate advertising. Surrogate advertising, for example, Kingfisher is a brand of alcohol where in Indian market it cannot be directly advertised. So they come up with Kingfisher mineral water or Kingfisher CDs or Bacardi CDs or McDowell's mineral water, etc. Next is the trade advertising. Here there are two types again. One is retail advertising and the other one is the wholesale advertising. Non-profit advertising, example, contribution to the elders care or save the poor, save the needy or eradicate the hunger, etc. Next is the public service advertisement, example, do not drink and drive, please wear seat belt, etc. The second type is type of impact required advertisement. So under this we are having three types. First one, promotional demand advertisement. It is intended to affect the demand for the type of product and not for any particular brand. Example, ads promoting benefits of eating egg. So here a particular brand of the product is not highlighted but the product is highlighted. In this case, the example, it is egg. So here they are promoting the benefits of eating egg. The second one, direct or indirect action demand advertisement. Under this there are two types. Direct action ads, they aim for immediate response. Example, coupon for immediate redemption. So here you might get a coupon over a message or a newspaper where it says limited period offer is valid till 2 days. So the coupon has a expiry date within which you have to go and redeem it. So it is direct action ads. Second one is indirect action ads. It aims to create a favorable attitude towards the brand. For example, cars and durable goods. So in terms of cars, it is like luxury, space, then your comfort, etc. And the third one is institutional advertisement. It is about the good work done by the company. It aims to build a positive public image in the eyes of all the shareholders, employees, suppliers, and general public. In general term, we can call it as stakeholders. So it aims to build a positive public image in the eyes of all the stakeholders. So next comes is the geographical area. So under geographical area, we are having three different types. First one is the national advertising. These ads are across the regions of a country. It encourages the consumers to buy the product all over the country or across the country. Example, HUL, Britannia. The products of these particular companies are available throughout the country. Second one is the local advertisement. They are generally given by retailers. They provide specific information for the consumers of that particular local area. Example, ads by dealers for automobiles for free services. So it is based on a particular region only. So it is called as local advertising. And the third one is global advertising. They are used by global companies. Global companies in the sense it is the company has a presence in multiple countries or throughout the globe. Example, IBM, Intel, Microsoft, Apple, etc. Next, we will be seeing the advertising appeal in various stages of PLC. PLC is product life cycle. There are three stages in the life cycle model of advertising. The first one is the pioneering stage, second one is the competitive stage, and the third one is retentive stage. So the first one, pioneering stage. When a new product is launched or when a current product is modified, it is called as a pioneering stage, or we are in a stage of pioneering. Consumers are not aware of the product. Consumers do not recognize the need to buy the product. There is more risk in this stage as it is challenging to create a new brand in the minds of the customers. Ads must impress that it is a improved product and must educate the public. So in this case, the ads must suggest the new usage of the particular product or in service, and the next is habitual change or the habit change, where we are imbibing the new habit of using the product or the service which is being introduced into the market. If the advertisement succeeds, it may help the brand to become an pioneer. Second one, competitive stage. At this stage, a brand or product has many competitors. The consumers are well aware of the benefits of the product. They are also aware of the other competitive brands. They want to select a particular brand out of all the competitors or the different products available in the market. The objective of advertisement at this stage is to highlight the benefits and the uniqueness of your product. Example, FMCG products like toothpaste, bathing soap, etc. Toothpaste, they are coming with so many new things like salt in the toothpaste or the clove in the toothpaste, or coming up with minty flavor, or coming up with a toothpaste which is very much used by sensitive teeth people or the people who are having sensitive teeth. And the third one and the last one is the retentive stage. The product has reached the maturity stage in its life cycle. So it has got a major share in the market already. So these people might be the people who are having the major share in the market. Then next comes the purpose of advertising at this stage is to keep the product at the top of the recall in the consumer's mind and retain market share. So what they mean here is, when you want a particular product, you should associate suddenly with the brand of that particular product. For example, toothpaste. So in many places or in many villages for that matter, people go and ask for Colgate as a toothpaste, and they will not be asking toothpaste, they will be asking Colgate. So similarly, one more example is water. So if you want a packaged drinking water, people usually ask as Bisleri, give me a bottle of Bisleri. Okay, and there are many such products like that. Next is, the advertisement does not talk much about the benefits of the product, as people already know, as they are using it from a longer period of time. The emphasis is more on the visual content and brand name. It is very difficult stage for any brand to reach, as there are always competitive brands trying to grab the market share. As there are more competitors into the market share is divided further into all over them. So if there might be a person or few brands who are having the major market share, but still new entrants into the market and the substitute products still try to reduce the market share of this people who are having more market share in the market. Thank you.